Okie dokie. Let's see how that works. No, not great. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the first stream that I, Scott Humphrey, am doing in 2025. Obviously, Paul Prospero, it counts for his own thing. Welcome to another solo RPG stream. Let me fix some levels and things first, because this looks horrific. And my... You know what? Actually, the green screen's weird, but I'm going to keep it. Yeah, I'm going to keep it. Half a scoots, exactly. Look, Aragwen, you're all here to watch this solo RPG unfold. You're not here for a full scoots. You're here for half a scoots and a full story. You're all here for a full narrative. Hi, everybody. Welcome. If you're watching this on the VOD, thanks. Welcome to YouTube. I presume this is the very first video you've ever watched. Folks, I have streamed a couple of solo RPGs before. Lost Below the Earth and Thousand Year Old Vampire. Thousand Year Old Vampire was very long because it was done over multiple sessions, or 2 sessions, I think, which I stitched into one, 4-hour YouTube video. I have really enjoyed streaming solo RPGs and essentially learning them on the fly with you, the audience. And apparently y'all agree, because my Lost Below the Earth video has 1,000 views or something. It's kind of nuts for someone who doesn't really create content for YouTube. So if you like this, like it, leave a comment, whatever. If you are liking it right now live on the stream, that's even better. So as you can tell, today we are today we're going to be learning and playing Little Town, a game by Gustavo Coelho. I have not, Flower. Do you mean chess piece robots? Do you mean... I just heard about an indie game last night that's essentially chess, but the troll who guards the bridge is cheating. Is that what you're talking about? No, I don't know. I'm not sure. Today we're going to be playing a game called Little Town by Gustavo Coelho. I have always loved Twin Peaks. It's been a long time since I've watched it. So I remember the tropes and the vibes, but I do not remember the specifics. So watch me as I immediately rip off the entire plot. We're going to talk a little bit about what the game is. We're going to go through some of the rules, and then I think we're just going to dive in, because I really don't know what to expect. Here's where we're going to start. We're going to start the way the book starts. Twin Peaks is different, a long way from the world. You've noticed that, and that's the way we like it. But there's a back end to that is different too. Maybe that's the price we pay for all the good things. There's a sort of evil out there, something strange in the hills. It takes different forms, but it's been there for as long as anyone can remember, and we've always been here to fight it. Sheriff Harry S. Truman in the television program Twin Peaks. This is the opening quote from our game by Gustavo Coelho. Look at that cute little art. This is Aragwen, obviously. This is art depicting Aragwen, the queen of the stream, owl with legs. Sorry. Okay. Little Town is an attempt to pay homage to Twin Peaks in the... Oh, yeah, no, me too. Well, Flower's like, I'm logging out. No, it's going to be set in our own version. I'm probably going to make up a little Quebec mining or logging town. Just because I love backwoods. Northern Quebec. It's very isolated, and it's got its own sort of spooky feeling. But we'll get there when we get there. Step into the shoes of someone looking to unravel one or more mysteries in a quiet, peculiar small town. There's some inspirations here, etc. Oh, the owls are not what they seem. Okay, cool. So, we're going to need our imagination. Chat, I'm obviously going to be relying on you for that. Famously, I have very little imagination. Help. D6s. I've got a shit ton of D6s in front of me. I will probably be using 2 different colored ones to represent different D6s. We'll talk about that in a second. I've got my standard deck of playing cards sorted into suits, and then copies of the investigation sheet, the playmat, and a few copies of the scene sheet. Now, I will not be using the investigation sheet Actually, can I show that on stream? I think I can. Give me 2 seconds, and I will see if I can find that for you. Thank you very much. Woo! Mysterious coffee delivery. If there's 2 things they love on Twin Peaks, it's coffee and mysteries. And that is both of them. All right, so I'm just going to go into here. I'm going to find this, and then I'm going to see if this is easy enough to show on stream. Yeah, okay, it's a little cut off. Because I think I zoomed in too much. The investigation sheet essentially is the thing that you're marking stuff down on. I'm not going to really be using this because instead, those are the cards. We'll get there in a second. Because instead, I'm going to be using my POW! Google document. Thanks, Google. So we'll get into all of this in a bit. I love the idea. When I started playing solo RPGs, started. Lost Below the Earth was definitely like a narrative experience, sort of a spooky around the fire, kind of telling a spooky story around a campfire situation. Ignore the previous part of that sentence. And then 1,000-Year-Old Vampire is very specifically a journaling game. Hang on, I'm going to see if I can move myself over even further. Whee! Oh, yeah. Oh, beautiful. So we're going to be not journaling per se, but I'm going to be probably making notes throughout as we continue. Isn't it just? I love it, Aragwen. I really do. And the sequel, it's coming. And which I can't remember what it's called exactly. So you've married a 1,000-Year-Old Vampire, so you're dating 1,000, something like that. Oh, Flower. What a great question. And those are indeed the 2 ends of the scale. What genre and tone are we going for here? On a scale from Nancy Drew to Call of Cthulhu. Definitely somewhere in the middle. That's how scales work. I'm aiming for like a 4 or a 5. There is definitely strangeness. There is definitely something afoot in the town. In Nancy Drew, or even something like, Scooby-Doo would be like a 2, right? In Scooby-Doo, there is the illusion of paranormal activity or strange things happening. But it's always the work of people. In this RPG, what I would like to do is have unexplained phenomena, but the conspiracy or mystery is probably going to have a very human heart. That's my thought. So Call of Cthulhu is very much like it's a pulpy adventure where you definitely can't survive because the forces aligned against you are too big. That's like a 10, right? Yeah, I'm aiming for like a 4 or 5. Weird shit, but maybe it can be explained. Let's continue. Oh, sorry. So there's some notes here about wording and rules and stuff. I think it's all pretty standard for anyone in here who's not super familiar with TTRPGs. That's cool. But most of us will understand D6 means a 6-sided die. 2d6 is adding together the results on 2 6-sided dice. And then it says here a D66, or a D66, is a combination of 2 dice. The 10s digit and the 1s digit. So it allows us to roll from 1 to 66. The scenario serves as the backbone for the detective story that will unfold. Yes! Hi, Captain Spooey. Correct. X-Files is fab. I love it. I was going to say Twin Peaks. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Flower. Yes, let's actually look at that. What does it say here? You can choose whether the first number refers to the table row and the second to the column, or vice versa. I'm going to use 2 different colored dice, white and black. I'm going to always set the black die to be the 10s and the white die to be the 1s, unless I don't like the result, in which case I'll reverse them. Okay. The first thing to do is to create the town, a place that seems to have stopped in time somewhere simultaneously in the 50s and the 90s. I like it. Things move a bit slower here. They still have most modern... Oh, you know what the other touchstone is here? Alan Wake, right? Alan Wake also very much, you know, Bright Falls is very much, actually, Bright Falls is probably 100% an inspiration here. Waco, Texas. Wake up, babe. Texas just dropped. I don't know. Okay. I am gonna Yeah! What is that? Yeah, what is that name even, huh? Shouldn't it be pronounced Wacko? Well. Let's jump in. I am going to name the town, and then I'll probably end up rolling a little bit in terms. Gotti. I want. You know what I really want actually is to look up like a real Quebec town name. No, I'm just gonna take one that's inspired. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna remove this for a second, and I'm gonna quickly Google small Quebec towns in the sort of Gaspésie, or the sort of more northern part of Quebec. Just for reference, guys, like the area. So Montreal is the province of Quebec's largest city. I think the greater area has like La Petite Ville, or as of course they would call it in Québécois, Bluey, Titsville, which they would, Titsville. Montreal's got a greater metropolitan area of like 3 million people, I think. Mignoton! Ah, that's so cute, Aragwen. But if you go, just do yourself a favor. I'm not gonna like dox myself here on Google Maps, but like just go to a map. Montreal is like 30 to 45 minutes from the border with the States. Maybe an hour? I don't know. We do measurements by time in Canada. It's like, I don't know, 50, 60K kilometers? I don't know, something like that. The Laurentians, which is considered, you know, developed, but still like relatively kind of rural, where there's mountains and skiing and stuff, is also about, let's say, 50 or 60 kilometers north of Montreal. The province of Quebec then extends like, I don't even know, like several, like 1,000, 2,000 kilometers further north. It is wild. It's not Flower that I'm aware of, but is this music too intense? I like Fermont. That's a good name. Fermont is pretty good. I'm gonna think of something else. I will also point out what may come up during the stream today, just again because of sort of where my head is at and so on. There's a large part of Quebec is technically part of the province of Quebec in the country of Canada. However, a lot of it is sort of governed by the Inuit peoples, indigenous peoples of northern Quebec. So a ton of sort of places have more traditional Inuit names, ooh, I like it. So just as a FYI, I think it'd be really cool if the town was also exactly, whoa, a population of 0? Whoa, why do they exist? Let's get the hell out of here. Yeah. Step 1, found a town. Step 2, question mark, question mark, question mark. Step 3, let's get the hell out of here. Step 4, profit. Town is 0. What I really want is like a nice foresty area. So Mysticiny is a great name, actually. Mysticiny. Lemoine, the monk. Because of all the spooky. What Magusti? Probably Aragwen. All right. Okay. Sorry. Scootsville. Oh, I love it. All right. Lemoine. Here we go, guys. I'm doing it. Pow. So, oh, but that's no, it's not a real town. It's a real island. Anyway, I'm gonna pretend there's a town here. Located about 500 kilometers north of Montreal in the interior of the province of Quebec. Lemoine is a small town bordered on 3 sides by dense boreal forest. I'm not a botanist. Is that correct? Hi, Mistrich. It's all good. I love a call. Actually, now that I think about it, yeah, Eric went and Blue are here too. Damn, guys. As you probably saw in the Discord, folks, I should note as well, we're not no Doom today. Are you Bareal? Oh, it's already been Barat. No Doom today, but this is why I decided to do this, because I wanted to play this for a long time. We are currently playing Little Town, a solo RPG by... sorry, I have to check, because I've forgotten already. I'm so sorry, Mr. Gustavo Coelho. Okay. Guys, we actually have to make this town. Come on, get it together, Scott. A small town bordered on 3 sides by dense boreal forest. And... 3 side by dense boreal forest. And on the... located on Lake Lemoine, the largest forested habitat on Earth. Oh, perfect. Thank you very much, Miss Trich. I love it. And now I'm going to close this once more. Thanks, Eric. Oh, yes. Yes. To the flowing out of the west. Yeah, I mean, Mr. This country is so big. It's so big and nobody lives here. It's so crazy. Flowing out of the west end of the Kachekt. Nailed it. East end of the lake is Spooky River. No, I'm just kidding. We're gonna. It's gonna be. I need like a. You know what I actually need? Hang on, guys. I'm. What am I doing? Let's open a new tab here, so that y'alls aren't spying on my goddamn thing here. What I need is Quebecois family names. Ooh, that's even better. Oh man! Oh goddamn! Flower, I'll take it. You definitely shouldn't. I do not disagree with that, Mr. Rich. It's scary as hell out here. Although I've never been far enough north, to see like to be in the land of the midnight sun or whatever. Have like those full days of sun or whatever. I've never been that far north, but I like the vibes. Is Hangman River lazily flowing out towards Hudson Bay. Hudson Bay is very far, so let's just pretend this exists. What else do I want to say? Adjacent. Lemoine. Okay, well, we have to explain. To the east is the... So what I'm looking for is... Like, I don't want to just make up an indigenous name. What do we think? Should I maybe borrow one that already exists? Or should I... What makes the most sense here, guys? Because I feel like it'd be really cool to have, like, a sort of indigenous place nearby as well. Place, you know? Wow. Man, Quebec's crazy, dude. Yeah. McTickwatik. That's a great name. I love that. Okay. Here we go. I'm doing it. I'm just gonna write McTickwatik. Is McTickwatik. It wouldn't be Inuit this far north, would it? No, probably not. It'd probably still be Algonquin. Oh. I'm making some assumptions here, my friends, but I'm also creating things whole cloth. Cree, thank you, Aragorn. Sorry, that music just had like a little the beginning of O Canada, our national anthem, da 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 da, is a minor third. Anyway, it had it in the song, and I was like, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, all right, focus up, Scott. A small Cree village. I also call it a village. No, I'm gonna call it a town. Okay, what else do I need to know? Hang on. About Pow. So, where is the town? About 500 kilometers away from, so several hours away from any major city. I wrote a paragraph. That's great, Scott. Do you want to do any work or? God damn it. Surrounded on 3 sides by thick forest. The 4th side, it borders a lake, Lac Lemoine, out of which flows a river, Hangman River. Thick paragraph. And then nearby a Cree town, Matiquatic. What else do I have to say about Lemoine? Not much. What we need to know now is, so this is the name, they have tables you can roll on if you want to really make like Rust Grove or whatever. The town's economic foundation, it's going to probably be mining or logging. Technically flour. Yes. More technically. I don't do anything. Okay. Splooey's cooking lunch, did laundry, swept the house, took out the trash, gathered leaves. Gathered leaves? Just thought I'd gather a few leaves, you know, for the table. Let's go ahead and roll 2d6. I wanted to roll. Whoa, I rolled a 2! Quarrying. What do they quarry? Stone. So if civilization has taught me anything, it's that mining and quarrying are different. You mine for minerals and ore, but you quarry stone. That's what it is. Founded in, I don't know, 18? No, hang on. There was the 1920s was when it kind of really... There you go! No, Splooey, sorry, just to be clear, yes, you're probably right. I have been known to rake leaves. I have also been known to gather leaves, but they're like being gathered for a purpose, not just like like thrown in a bag. So, I don't know why this is so funny. It's funny because at Christmas we had a little like, you know, a couple of pine cones and a couple of leaves and a couple of pine needles and things as like a bit of a centerpiece, which was very sweet actually. Foraged from our yard. Wait, what? Hang on. What did you say to me? Oh, I'm a herder. Okay. Sorry, Aragwen. Part of the chat was cut off, so it says, but I believe Scoots is technically up. Mistrich is like, can we do something today, please? So Mistrich, great question. I suppose I should probably explain how the game works. Which I will do. I'm going to make the town, I'm going to make my investigator. And then I'll go over the sort of major rules of the game. However, I will say, much like in Twin Peaks, this game is about solving a mystery that is at the heart of the town of Lemoine, Quebec. We don't know what that mystery is. We're going to craft it together. My investigator is going to go about interviewing people, tailing suspects, finding clues, etc. Damn it, I hate being roasted by my chat, especially when they're so right! It's more of an investigation kind of game. And yeah, the end... Actually, let's talk about that briefly, because I think this is a good time to mention it at least a bit. You guys can't see this. It's annoying. Oh, it's so annoying. You can't see that. That's fine. It's fine. I'm gonna search case closed. When you believe you've come to a solution to the case, roll 2d6 plus the number of clues minus the time limit, minus the number of ongoing cases. We'll probably only have one case, and the time limit usually starts at 8 by default. I might make it 6 just to make the game a bit... Well, no, I'll probably leave it 8. That's the default. So essentially, the more clues that I've managed to gather over time, as long as I survive all of the strange happenings of town, I then eventually, when I think I've come to a solution, I roll, and if I score a 7 to 9, it says here you can see the solution is correct, but not everything unfolds as planned. 10 plus, the solution is correct. 6 or below, the solution is incorrect. Essentially, that's the game. The game is we're going to be conducting an investigation and trying to gather clues. And then at a certain point, once I feel like I have enough clues to statistically be in good stead to win, I'm going to roll. That's the game. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to get back to building a town. Okay. Let's do... I'm just going to... As a stone quarry. As living quarters for... Okay. Yeah, Flower, I'm not... I mean, that's a lot of clues, because time limit's going to be 8. Anyway, we'll get into that. Oh, that sounds fun, Mistrich. So I think similar. I'm hoping for, like, a more kind of, mysterious... more mysterious kind of vibe here. We'll see. The town has a dark backstory. Oh, there you go. Yeah, exactly. As a reminder, what are the sort of, like, major themes we're going to be exploring today? Small town, isolated from the outside, so you really only have the other people there as both company but also as suspects. Everything moves a little bit slower. There's some sort of strange force at work, and perhaps most importantly, everyone has a secret. Let's go ahead and roll 3d6, because I want to see what this town's dark backstory is. Woohoo! I love dark backstories. Let's see. And then that is gonna... yes, we do, Flower. Yes, it's a roll as well, but as long as it's not, like, too straightforward, we're gonna figure it out. Yeah. I rolled a 6, 9, 11. The town's economic prosperity relied on fraudulent business practices. That sounds about right. I'm just going to write fraudulent business practices. We're going to come back and kind of construct this a little better in a bit. I can't spell the word fraudulent. Fraudulent. Okay, and then now let's continue and see if there's anything else. Oh, the case. Life in the town, life in Lemoine is calm and slow, like trees swaying in the wind. However, the peaceful routine of its inhabitants was recently disturbed by an extraordinary event. To discover what sparked your investigation, roll the table below. I will do that in a bit, but first, let's finish writing this out here. Founded in the 1920s as living quarters is the wrong idea. Living as a town for the workers of a stone quarry. It's not great. There's a better way to say that. It's fine. It then evolved into the quintessential small town of 1950s Quebec, and seems to have gotten stuck there. I just wrote fraudulent business practices. Yes, Flower. Yeah. So I'm not even sure if my investigator will really know this. What does it say here? It's a dark backstory that townsfolk seem to have forgotten or keep hiding. Despite other larger stone quarries and mining towns exploding in population during this time, Lemoine never had money troubles. Yeah, see, I thought so too, Captain Splooey, and now I'm getting hung up on the difference between mining and quarrying. And also, who cares? Like, what am I doing here? Like, what are we all doing here? You know what I mean? You are all watching me try to figure out how to play. Whatever, it doesn't matter. We're having a blast, guys. Despite other larger stone quarries and mining towns exploding in population during this time, Lemoine never had money trouble. A fact which was never looked into too thoroughly, given the fraudulent business practices of the town's magnates? Let's go with magnates. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It's a weird song. Yeah, let's leave it. All right, team. Now we go back to discover what sparked your investigation. Now, I'm going to be creating my own character as well, so we're going to go... Ah, quarries are open air! Oh, perf, Araguen. Okay, so it could be for certain kinds of minerals, but okay. Okay, cool. I'm rolling my 3d6. 2, 3, 5, 7. An explosion has occurred. Where? When? How big was it? Is anyone dead? I don't know. Yeah, sure. Sounds good to me. Despite the quarry being more or less closed for the last 30 years, a recent explosion rocked the early morning hours of that the explosion doesn't rock hours, but you know what, fuck it, this is my game and I'm playing it the way I want, okay? A recent explosion rocked the early morning hours of, is it a Christmas mystery? It's a Christmas mystery. December 25th, 2024. I think so too, Flower. Yeah, I'm pretty jazzed about this. Was it an accident? And if so... well, no, not and if so. Was it an accident? Or was it deliberately... you set a fire. Was it deliberately caused to cover up evidence of greater wrongdoing? Okay, cool. Guys, we're almost there, I promise. There being the game. Okay, here we go. Now that you know the town's name, location, and what happened there, it's time to meet your investigator. What is their name? La Carrière Citron. Detective, Inspector. I just need to be Inspector, I think. Inspector Jean-Francois Tremblay. A classic. Choose a name, determine their role. I'm not gonna roll on this table. Well, here, I'll show you all the table. This is the point of playing a game like this. So you roll on 2d6, and there's like different kind of types here. Vigilantes, computer hackers, paper deliverers, sleuths, students, like lots of cool stuff. If I was, the second time I play this, I will probably roll and maybe end up being like the paper boy or whatever. But I want to do something a little more classic today. JFT to his homies. Exactly, Flower. So now we're just full Drew crew here. Practically retired, Jean-Francois, I'm going to call him JF. JF has worked for the SQ. What does SQ stand for? Sécurité Québec? Service? It's the police service of Quebec. Oh man, I actually don't know. Okay, hang on. Oh shit! Mistrich, I love it! Hang on, guys. Oh, sorry, no. I'm just gonna look that up. Well, I'm embarrassed. I actually don't know. Sûreté. Sûreté. Security. Sûreté. Thank you. I know there's an extra accent there, but I don't know how to make it on my alt codes. For how old would he be? He'd probably be in his like 40s or 50s, so practically retired. JF has worked for the SQ for 25 years now, solving strange cases all around rural northern Quebec. I mean, that's so rather than having to switch my keyboard all the time, Mistrich, I just learned a few alt codes for like emails and stuff, and it's been pretty valid. It's been okay. Recent interpersonal conflicts with a new SQ director has left him sidelined so he can enjoy. Oh my god, lol, Mistrich, I love that. I just copy and paste from Google. I love it. His retirement in Lemoine. Yeah. Oh yeah. You're a loose cannon, Tremblay. What else do I want to say about him? Stocky, tall, world-weary, thinning gray hair, leather jacket. Yeah. Sure, Splowy, just for you. Loves cigars. So I bet that's definitely not gonna come up and bite me in the ass. All right. Oh boy, I bet that's not gonna be a problem. Now that we know who Jean-Francois Tremblay is, let's define their characteristics. So we have 4 attributes: agility, reflexes, hand-eye coordination, etc. It is flower, but the year is 2024. Been established. It just this town happens to like be perpetually in the 50s for some reason. A trench coat is also timeless. Ah, fuck it, fine. All right. Thinning gray hair, trench coat, loves cigars, and we'll probably learn more about him as we go. All right. Strength, mind, perceptive, intelligent, etc. Presence, charming, persuasive, charismatic, etc. We just made Columbo. God fucking damn it. Oh, wow, what's going on in this small town? Terrible. I haven't seen Columbo in so long. I haven't seen that in so long. Okay, focus up, Scott. We assign the following modifiers to our attributes: +2, +1, 0, and -1. Yeah, exactly, Flower. Got it. All right. So I'm just going to say these out loud here. I think he would have probably less decent agility. He'd probably have very good mind and/or presence. I always like playing characters with a high riz and/or manipulation. +2, +1, 0, and -1. Great, here we go, guys. I'm doing this real fast. The agility is a -1. Strength is a +1. Nope, the strength is a 0. No, the strength is a +1. The mind is a 0, and the presence is a no, fuck it. Presence 0, mind +2. Done. Foot, fist, book, brain. There we go. So, you know, he doesn't stretch every day, but he does go to the gym, where you should famously stretch every day. His years of experience have given him a very perceptive, observant kind of perspective on the world, able to make connections. And while he's pretty good at talking to people, he does have a bit of a curmudgeonly demeanor. Love it. Attributes are the inherent traits. Conditions represent their current state at any given moment during the game. So, yeah, you definitely can't do that at home, Splowy. The way I stretch, I need a whole room, baby. Luck, instability, and wounds. So wounds, we start at 0. Wounds is how wounded you are. Instability is how stable or not you are. It says here, its starting value is set according to the number of secrets we keep, and it changes over time, ranging from 0 to 6. So, how mentally stable we are. I'm going to write 1 because I presume I'm only going to have 1 secret, but we'll see. Luck defines how lucky the investigator is. 1d6 plus 6. It decreases each time we push their luck. See, push your luck. I rolled a 2, so let's go ahead and write 8 luck, and we'll continue. No, I want to look up push your luck first. When you try to overturn an unfavorable roll, roll 2d6. If the result is equal to or less than your luck, which is currently 8, luck goes down by 1, and then you get a reroll. If your result is greater than luck, you still lose a luck, and you do not attempt the roll again. Yeesh. That is heavy. Okay, so we're allowed to reroll things with our luck, basically. Just please remind me if I'm very mad about a certain outcome. Everyone in the town has at least 1 secret. Our secret must be so significant enough that once revealed, it can shake our stability. To determine how many secrets I have and to gauge how unstable they are, roll on the table below. I'm rolling. I rolled a 2 again. 1 secret, 0 instability. 1 secret. Okay, you can see here on the table again as well, there's different kinds. They give some examples. You're an FBI agent who's fallen in love with a witness, and she was your ex-partner's wife. Why is your ex-partner a witness? Sorry, why is your ex-partner's wife a witness? God damn it. Okay, these are very cool. These are very cool things. I guess I'm going to roll, and people are going to give me suggestions. I'll take your suggestions for Jean-Francois Tremblay's secrets in the chat. I rolled a 6. Crime. Secret. What kind of crime could Jean-Francois have committed and or be hiding, and or hiding something about crime? A classic interest. I like it. During his work for the SQ, he covered up a murder. Oh! Oh! Oh shit! My own mother's corruption. Oh god. During his work for the SQ, he covered up a murder. So why would you do that if you were in fact in pursuit of justice? You would be in pursuit of a bigger thing, right? A murder was committed. Is it vigilante justice shit? Brackets Taylor's version, or what? He covered up a murder in order to, not force, like, guarantee the arrest. Yeah. In order to protect. He covered up a murder in order to protect the. Oh, it's interesting that you say that, Aragwen. In order to protect his brother. Oh shit. I like it. Okay, I like it. All right. During his work for the SQ, he covered up a murder in order to protect his brother, who promised to disappear if JF just did this one favor. Plus, DNA match, a DNA match at the scene of the crime would raise questions for Tremblay. ... Let's call it there. I don't want to define too much because I feel like it might come up. Well, where did he go, Captain Spooey? Interest in the case? The town has changed since the event, but what is our interest in the investigation? Why do we care about this explosion? I see enough interesting stuff on this table that I am gonna roll it. That's how I determine if I roll something or not. I just look at the table and go, oh, that would be fucking sick if I got that. I rolled a 10. The case is tied to my personal vendetta. So how is it tied to my personal vendetta? Or who is my personal vendetta is probably a better question. Because there's no suspect. Well, there's probably plenty of suspects, but there's no culprits yet. We don't know who dynamited, who set off a large explosion at the quarry. Is my personal... Here's the question. Is my personal vendetta against the corruption in the town? In which case... So, JF... Here we go. I'm just going to write this out, guys, and I'm going to see how it goes. JF believes that the an ex-lover. Ooh! Okay, Flower... Take note of that and remind me, because the first time we get a suspect, I think it's going to be an ex-lover. I like it. JF believes that the explosion couldn't have possibly been an accident. There is too much corrupt history in Lemoine that needs covering up. He's going to get to the bottom of what that quarry is hiding, one way or another. I stupid owns the mine, not the crime. Maybe the company that owns the crime is covering something up. Okay, and finally, my friends, we can get back to the actual rules of the game. Okay. So overall, here's how the game is going to work as we progress through. I've already kind of mentioned what the win condition is. Man, I am getting worse at nouns as I get older. How old are you, Scott? Doesn't matter. Timeless, ageless. How old is Lemoine, Quebec? The time limit is an abstraction of how close the investigator is to solving the case. The higher the time limit, the more probable it becomes for the investigator to face perilous situations. Me too, Captain Spilly. So, the time limit will start at 8. So you can change the time limit of the game to make the game easier or not, basically. Cool. Scenes. The investigation is divided into scenes. So we're going to talk about how the scenes work in a moment, but basically we're going to run 6 scenes per day. But each scene could be as simple as, I walked into a cafe, grabbed a coffee. Nothing going on, just Johnny sweeping in the corner. Then you leave. So each scene unfolds at a location. The investigator can interact with NPCs, witness events, confront dangers. When the event is resolved, or when I leave the location, the scene concludes. 2 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, 1 at night. That's it. That's the game. When the last scene ends, trigger the daily review move. Yeah, it's not clear to me, Flower. What's a bit weird to me about this is that does the time limit goes down over time, right? That would make sense. Every day, hang on, I'm actually just going to check that right now. Yes, okay. At the end of an in-game day, you ask yourself the following question. Has the story progressed favorably for me? If the answer is yes, the time limit goes down by 1, which means you're slightly closer to solving the case. If the answer is no, the time limit goes up, which is worse. Technically, you have more time, but dangers get, well, more dangerous. Okay. So basically, here's what the game consists of. 6 scenes a day. You go to a location. We're going to explain what we do at a location in a moment. But at a location, you resolve events, talk to NPCs, witness things. Basically, we're going to be crafting all of this story at the same time. And actually, I'm going to go right ahead and December 26th, 2024. The reason I'm starting it on the 26th is because the 25th was when the explosion took place. So, in the game, we can ask yes/no questions. So they give an example. Does the sheriff know why a stuffed moose head is lying on the briefing room table? So, basically, you roll, and there's a table here to determine whether you get a yes or a no, or a yes and or a no but, etc. Then there's open questions. So if you're not sure kind of... Yeah, well, here's an example. What does the witness have to say about the case? This is interesting. This is very interesting. I've never seen anything like this before, which I quite like. After formulating an open question, roll 2 d6 sixes, one for action and one for theme. Combine the words and interpret the meaning within the story. So there's strange tables here. There's like a verb and then a noun, and then I think they're going to give an example. So the player rolls an action and a theme, resulting in suppose and occult, which could be interpreted as the witness is suggesting the case is related to an occult group. What if I rolled like overwhelm family? Say, right? Maybe, what does the witness have to say about the case? They're, it could be something that, so I could interpret that as, oh, well, they're a part of this big crime family and they're overwhelmed with the pressure of keeping all of their family's secrets and they break down and tell me something. But it could also be they're overwhelmed by their families, responsibilities or something. I don't know, whatever. Different ways of doing that. The deck. So I have different suits of cards which represent different things. We'll get there later. NPC attitude. Moves. Moves is an idea that is Powered by the Apocalypse as well. Basically, performing a move allows us to determine whether we accomplish our action or not. So you roll a 2d6 plus a specific attribute. There's advantage and disadvantage, much like in D&D. Then there's special moves here, etc. Now, interesting. Aragorn, you mentioned a twin brother. You don't know this game, so you didn't know that this is a special move in the game. Face your doppelganger. When encountering your doppelganger, roll 1d6 plus agility for both you and them. So if you roll higher, you escape. You get a little instability, and then you whatever, and then you get away, basically. But if the doppelganger rolls a higher number, you become trapped in a parallel dimension, resulting in the end of the game. I will say there is a... what's it called here? A bonus? Like... It's called optional rules. The optional rules are how do you get out of the parallel dimension. And then there's a whole, essentially, mini-game where you go corridors, doors, dreams. It's very... Firewalk with me, right? It's very like... the other place in Twin Peaks. I don't know what they call that. It's a dreamscape, basically. We're not going to do that. If I draw the doppelganger and fail my agility roll, it's just that's it. That's the story. Remember a dream, whispers from beyond, push your luck, fight death, take a break. Lots of stuff. Not just a flower, but also it's a single d6 -1 because I took -1 agility. Like? That's right, a dumbass. Okay, good. Here we go. And I've mentioned this already, but basically, every day, at the end of an in-game day, we determine whether the game has progressed favorably for us or not. I imagine... Oh, good point, Mistrich. Good point, guys. All right. It's just two stiff old men trying to get away from each other. Do you have to use the word stiff? Okay. So the daily review either increases or decreases the time limit. Case closed. When you believe you've come to a solution, roll 2d6, number of clues, minus the time limit, minus the number of ongoing cases. And then these are all the common actions, which are on my move cards. I wouldn't call this mysterious music exactly, Epidemic Sound, but whatever you say, guys. Still is, eh? Okay, there we go. All sorts of moves and things. Combat, if we ever get into combat. Playing the game. The time has come for you to seek the path. Your soul has set you face to face before the clear light, and now you are about to experience it in its reality, wherein all things are like the void and cloudless sky, and the naked, spotless intellect is like a transparent vacuum without circumference or center. At this moment, know yourself and abide in that state. So, we've got our scenario, we've got the investigator, we've got our piles of cards. We've got our D6 set to 6 because we have 6 scenes left on Boxing Day 2024. Take note of the time limit and start the first scene. We'll get into that in a second. As a reminder, this is the town of Lemoine, Quebec, surrounded by a dark, brooding boreal forest, bordered on one side by a beautiful, clear, sparkling, pristine lake, currently iced over. It is the winter after all. A little river flows out of the west side. To the east, another small town, Mctickwitik. The town has a dark history of corruption, mostly covered up, mostly forgotten as the town languishes in obscurity. On the very early hours of December 25th, 2024, an explosion at the old quarry. Massive, earth-shattering, world-ending. Was it just an accident? Or was it deliberate in order to cover up evidence of something else? Our investigator, Jean-Francois Tremblay, has worked for the SQ for 25 years, so he's got his badge, his gun, his flashlight. Everybody knows JF around town. How big is this town? 4,000 maybe? Lemoine is a small town. Let's say pop 3,000? Not that many. He's essentially trying to enjoy his retirement in Lemoine, but he really can't. He really can't. There's too much injustice out there in the world. And now, with this explosion, someone is trying to finally end the years of corruption one way or another. And he's going to find out why. So, this is how the game is going to go, and I'll read the example. Whoa! Hi, Alderaan. Welcome to a solo RPG, Little Town. I don't like this song, so I'm just skipping it. Sure. Ooh, Alderaan. Yes, of course. Absolutely. Allow me to get you that information. Little Town, the RPG, is available through DriveThruRPG. I am not sponsored by Little Town by Gustavo Coelho, but I'm really enjoying it. Have a look. Buy it if you'd like. It comes with the PDF of the game as well as the move cards that you can print. It comes with what's this song? Oh, thank you for the follow. That's what that was. And it comes with a couple other PDFs as well. Yeah, so take a look, and thank you, Alderaan, and welcome. All right, this is my first time playing, though, so we'll see how it goes. Basically, when we start a new scene, first thing in the morning, December 26th, 2024, JF is going to go to a blank place. We're going to choose a location or roll on the location table. Establish the elements that capture the investigator's attention in the scene: weather, smells, sounds, tastes, facial expressions, etc. Optionally, I don't know why I would make it optional. I guess optional in case you've just determined, oh, this scene has to be a chase or whatever. You roll 1d6 plus time limit. So early on, you're going to be in danger, I guess, or maybe you're rolling on the investigation progress table. Once the scene is set, the investigator gets into action, performing moves. You can ask questions to advance the narrative and or gather additional details. And then there's random tables if I really have nothing to think about. I have lots to think about. Let's have a look here. The scene takes place at the diner. There's a pleasant aroma of coffee and fresh cherry pie in the air. Some customers are engaged in quiet conversations, and it's possible to hear the music playing on the jukebox. This is very Bright Falls to me. The scene event is investigation progress. The subsequent progress roll is you see a suspect. The player asks the following question: does the suspect realize they were seen by the investigator? The answer is yes and, so the player chooses to interpret this as yes, they realized they've been seeing, and they decided to leave the diner. So, the investigator leaves the diner, and that's it. That's the end of the scene. we can kind of see how it goes, right? We establish a location, we figure out the scene event, be that a danger or a clue or whatever, and then we ask questions or make moves. Oh, I really want to interrogate this guy. Oh, shit, I really need to get away from this danger, etc. Does that kind of all make sense, more or less, guys? Look at these random tables. Okay, I think that's all pretty good. Now, I hate to say it, but I need to use the washroom, so I'm going to take a quick break. The quick break after 1 hour of... That's right, everybody. Setup! Let's have a quick look at our little sheet so far, though. Because I'm pretty pleased with this. And I hope everybody else is, too. So, Lemoine, located on Lac Lemoine, Hangman River, Metiquitic. So, as we know, it was founded in the 20s as a stone quarry. I wrote works instead of workers. Lemoine never had trouble finding money. I wonder why. Despite the quarry being more or less closed for the last 30 years, a recent explosion rocked the early morning hours of December 25th, 2024. Was it an accident, or was it deliberately caused to cover up evidence of greater wrongdoing? Let's find out what Jean-Francois Tremblay has to find at our very first scene in just a few minutes. I'm going to be right back, guys. Don't go anywhere or do what you want. I'm not your mom. See you in a sec. Yeah! Was it a conspiracy? We're assuming yes! What if it was just an accident, though? See you back in a sec on Little Town. I have to imagine, Flower, that indeed, it's just rows of spruces through which a logging trail has been cut. Okay, team. Oh, I got something in my tooth. It's a pro streamer right here. Pro streamer strats. Always eat right before you get back on stream. Okay. What do we think? Are we excited about diving in here? I'm going to kind of semi-journal it, figuring out what happens in each scene, and we'll add clues as we go. I think that's about it. I am the exciter. Me too. Boop. Okay. I would like to roll on a location. Oh, Alderon, thank you. And thank you for jumping in here. I really love the sort of... I don't like the word vibe. I feel like it's overused these days. But like, I really like the energy of Twin Peaks and the sort of like... Damn it, Flower! Flower, don't let anyone tell you that, okay? No, it's not true. Alright, I'm rolling my 66. No, I said specifically that I would use a black and a white die. The black die would be the tens digit. 56. The bookstore. That classic first thing in the morning location. Okay. What would take our friend Mr. Tremblay all the way over to a bookstore? I guess we should see if we define the scene of it. No. He's going to the bookstore to start his investigation. I have to assume... Gotta hit that bookstore. Oh! Flower, what a great idea! Psych! We're not playing Little Town anymore. We're playing Little Meet Cute. Cute? Little Meet Cute. Petite Cute. I have to assume the owner of the bookstore is an old friend of his, someone who knows the history of the town, someone he can either press for information or see if they know anything. Why would he go there first? I think he just really likes hanging out with this person, whoever they are. Mrs. McGarrigle. Sorry, it's not really an inside joke. Mrs. McGarrigle is the brand name of a mustard from Ontario, like a mustard maker. It's also a name of Scottish origin, which would be very popular in Eastern Ontario. Okay. Am I going to make an NPC right off the bat? I think so. First stop, the bookstore. So I need other good, solid, classic Quebecois names. Whoops, wrong one. It's over here. Des Marais of the Swamp. Classic. Mrs. Desmarais, I'm just kind of writing notes to myself to establish the scene a little bit. Mrs. Desmarais knows more about Lemoine, Lemoine than anyone else alive. Exactly, Flower. I like that. Plus, she's the only person. This is the only place other than Town Hall where I might be able to find a map of the mine. Quarry, sorry. Question, guys. I'm writing out full sentences here on my little journal, which you can see when I go over here. Is this worth doing, or should I just be taking notes? Weigh in the chat. It's going to disrupt the flow a bit more, I think. It's more interesting for me to have it sort of as a journal, but like I can just do bullet points as well. Okay. So that's why he's going there. Establish the elements that capture the investigator's attention in the scene. It's the reason he's always at Mrs. Desmarais' place. JF loves the smell of... he loves the smell of old books. It's what gets him up in the morning. It's just a very calming scent for him, I think. And Mrs. Desmarais is basically the only person in town who doesn't kind of disdain him a little bit. JF was involved in trying to bust up some of the corruption in Lemoine over the last sort of years, and so he's seen as a bit of a villain, a bit of an antagonist, you know, like, why would you want to disrupt the prosperity of our town, etc. I mean, Flower does make a good point. Definitely better than the smell of napalm. Now, optionally, define the scene event by rolling 1d6 plus the time limit. Well, it's definitely going to be either an investigation progress or a danger, because my time limit is currently 8. I rolled a 3. Okay, phew. Okay, so that's still 11. So I'm rolling on the investigation progress table. I don't need a danger at the bookstore, guys. Roll 2d6. 7. Nothing favors the investigation at this location. Well, I hate that. I hate that so much, I'm actually going to push my... No, I'm not. So push your luck is a move that lets you roll luck. If you roll less equal or less than your luck, which is 8, you lose a luck, but you re-roll. I cannot re-roll a nothing happens. That's so bad. Terrible idea. So, I mean, if nothing favors the investigation here, but I can still do stuff, right? It's not an event, but I can still do things. Also, I'm making this game up as I go. That's what I'm doing this. Yeah, I like it, Splooey. So, Mrs. Desmarais, it's not that she's it's not that she's like the last person you'd ever expect to be a criminal and therefore is a criminal, because she's the last person you'd expect. It's that, like, literally she's so boring, I guess. Okay, so I'm just gonna write, whoops, be useful if I actually knew how to, like, type things, I think, eh? Does Mrs. Desmarais know? So I kind of want to establish, I want to do 2 questions, basically, right? Is there a map here of the mine? Is there a map of the mine, of the quarry here? That's a question. And then, does Mrs. Desmarais know anything about the explosion? That's a yes or no question. And I can also perform moves, which I'm going to, I guess, quickly just check. What can I do here in terms of moves? Hot pursuit on someone. So you chase someone, follow someone, extract information from someone that's interrogating, flee, sweet talk, classic, intimidate, avoid conflict, brawl, defy danger, run away from a fight, crossfire, whatever, who cares. When searching for a clue, here's what I'm gonna do, guys. It's a wild song. I like it. This bookstore is pretty dope. I'm going to roll on my yes-no table. And I'm going to determine, is there a map of the quarry? And does Mrs. Desmarais know anything? Basically. If the answer to either of those is yes, I'm going to either investigate the location or I'm going to determine what that is, basically. And then that'll determine where we go next. I like it. Let's go to the yes-no questions. Yo, this song is nuts, dude. It's like freaking 90s trance up in here. All right. Is there a map of the quarry? Sorry, I'll show you the table. I rolled a 7. The sum is below luck, and the numbers rolled are different, with 1 odd and 1 even. That's a very specific thing. Yes! Is there a map of the quarry here? Yes. Okay, great. So we'll probably determine something from that. Does Mrs. Desmarais know anything about the explosion? I rolled a 9. The sum is above luck, and the numbers rolled are different, with 1 odd and 1 even. No. What a breakdown! It's pretty intense, eh? I really like that there's yes and yes, but yes. This is my favorite. My favorite thing so far about this game. Is there a map of the quarry? Yes. Does Mrs. Desmarais know anything? No. JF makes his way in, brushing some fresh snow off of the shoulders of his trench coat, breathing in the smell of old books. Smiling at Mrs. Desmarais, offering her, a takeout cup of coffee. He asks, almost casually, about the explosion yesterday. She looks panicked, but only because it's such an unusual occurrence in this quiet town. She was at home, asleep, of course. Christmas has been a bit sad for her in the last few years because all of her family's moved away, and because of the pandemic, none of them were able to come visit. JF nods sympathetically, but inside he's a little less concerned about her family affairs and more concerned about what the hell they were trying to cover up down at the quarry. Is there a map of the quarry? Yes. So, this is where the game gets a little, like, I guess funky for me. It's not super clear. Once the scene is set, the investigator gets into action, performing moves. Additionally, you can ask questions to advance the narrative and or gather additional details. Do I do that for as long as I want? I think so. Yeah, but that explosion. Well, she was panicked because she was so, like, shook up by it. When does the scene end? Remind me? Each scene unfolds at a location. As soon as the event is resolved, or when I leave the location, the scene concludes. Okay, so there was no event. So I can spend as long as I want here. Do we investigate the map, or do we just determine something about the map? I think we just determine something. We're probably going to collect some evidence and clues before we go and investigate the scene of the crime, the explosion, which is probably cordoned off, probably got a security guard posted. Maybe our good friend Jean-Francois Tremblay is going to have to sneak in. Who knows? So I'm just going to say, is there a map of the quarry? So he goes into the back stacks and... Yeah, well, Mistrich, I think you can. I think you can just kind of like... I mean, I can kind of just do what I want. But I'm going to say that the next location we visit, it'll still be morning. It probably won't be the crime scene. So I'm going to say there'll be another NPC there and we'll, like, investigate or interrogate them. The quarry sits atop... the quarry sits inside... the blasted crater of what was once a mountain. I understand that you typically dig quarries. Just bear with me on this. Also, where is a quarry if we're living, like, in the middle of a surrounded by forest on 3 sides, lake on the 4th? It's across the lake. It's across the lake. The quarry... No, hang on. The quarry is across Lac Lemoine. Ooh! Excellent, Alderaan. That I like a lot. Yes, and... Quarries across Lac Lemoine. And the explosion seems to have originated... So, would Jean-Francois Tremblay know much about this other than the fact that there was an explosion? He hasn't been. It's being reported that it was sort of it was far enough away from the entrance of the quarry that nobody was hurt, that there was no risk to the public. We could just say the explosion seems to have originated near the entrance to the mine, near the entrance to the mines below. Let's just say, because that's where you'd want to cover stuff up, right? Additionally, it's also mysterious music? I don't know. Additionally, JF finds records of the quarry's employees showing a year-over-year loss, although one name remains constant for nearly 30 years. And I'm going to roll an NPC, but it's going to be the security guard. The gate security guard. I like it. Okay. Where's my NPC list? NPCs. I don't need an archetype. I need names, damn it! This is interesting. So these are all, of course, very, like, Anglophone names. This is generally a pretty Francophone place, but I'm just going to kind of go for it and see where I get. See what I get and see if I like it. 2-4 is Foster. It's a good name. 2-5 is Dwayne Foster. No, I don't like it. It would be an older name for sure. I'm just going to call him Mr. Foster. Yeah, let's do that. Dwayne The Rock Foster. Oh, God. Okay, excuse me. Obviously, the company that owns the quarry does not keep all of their public records on the books. Certainly not at the bookstore. But this is more of, it's like more of a census, really. Yeah, exactly, Captain Splooey, yeah. Incredible. All right. I think it's time we leave this location and start a new goddamn scene. Where's my thing here? Okay. So, we've left the scene, which means we've left the scene. We've left the location. We've ended the scene. We're still in the morning, but we are going to choose a new location. So, I think once night rolls... Here's my thought, guys. 2 scenes in the morning, 3 scenes in the afternoon, 1 scene at night. 6 scenes in a day. My thought is Jean-Francois Tremblay is going to try to get all of the information he can out of the town, and then at night, he's going to steal a boat. I said the lake was frozen. He's going to... Oh, that's dangerous, but I like it. I'm going to cross the frozen lake at night, and we're going to break into the quarry for the 6th scene of this day and try to investigate. That's my thought. If that pisses anybody off, let me know. But, you know, there you go. So, in other, like, news, essentially, maybe we're going to run into Mr. Foster elsewhere in the town. Maybe we're going to run into some hooligans, or the cops, or the mayor. Perfect! Loose cannon behavior. Oh, whoops. I have to roll. We haven't, Flower. You bet, Mistrich. Don't you worry about it. Hey, are those clothes? Yeah, so Mistrich, my thought, or Mistrich and Flower, my thought was that JF was essentially retired, and that this would be an SQ investigation, but he's definitely not officially on the investigation team. The explosion was immediately cordoned off by the town and then by the province. He's part of the SQ, but his boss doesn't want him investigating this. His boss doesn't want him anywhere near this. You're just gonna mess it up, Tremblay, like you always do. I rolled a 3 and a 2, which is the firehouse. Like a fire station? It's a bit weird. Yeah, exactly. You can't have it. Yeah, you can't put him back on a desk. You know, he's an animal. He belongs on the savannah. The firehouse. Of course they were, Captain Spooey. So let's see if fire station basically. Will the fire chief give them any information about what they found? Fire chief was dispatched in the early hours for the explosion, I should say. Okay. Optionally, the fire station in Lemoine is a pretty classic kind of square. Some loon. Woo! Terrible loon. It's like a classic kind of squat gray concrete building, big roll-up doors in the front, you know. What do we have here? Sight, sound, smells. The fire station, maybe the smell of freshly baked cookies. They like to bake there when they're off duty, and there's not usually much happening. Obviously, you need to maintain a fire station in a town like Lemoine, being so far from any other places, and being in the middle of forested country means wildfires are a big concern. However, Christmas Day, Boxing Day now, no one was expecting a massive explosion, and people had to be scrambled to get out there. Hi, Autumn! Welcome to the stream. We're currently playing Little Town, a solo RPG, and so far, our police officer investigator here has gone to the bookstore and found a map of the quarry and some information about the quarry where there was a big explosion, and now he's off to the fire station to investigate the fire chief. That's what I've got so far. All right. Smells of lemon pledge and freshly baked cookies. Here we go. So, roll the scene event. I will. I rolled a 1, plus the time limit of 8 is a 9, so that's great. More investigation progress. We roll 2d6. I rolled a 7 again. Nothing favors the investigation. Tragic. However, obviously nothing favors the investigation. It's not like they're holding out information. Or are they? I am going to say that we get to talk to the guy. Where is it here? Investigate, leave without a trace, sweet talk. Interrogate, hang on. So, interrogate is extracting information. Sweet talk is manipulating someone. Intimidate is obviously intimidating someone. We need a name for the fire chief as well. We are going to call him Mr. Plant. I don't know. He's sort of he's like a Santa Claus type. Big beard, jolly, making jolly at Christmas time. Let's go with that. He loves baking cookies, what can I tell you? JF Tremblay does not really respect Fire Chief Plant. The guy's a bit of a joke. He loves a good beer and he loves a cookie. Much like Santa Claus. Exactly, Captain Spluey. He just doesn't really respect him. But obviously if he was the first responder on the scene of the explosion, he can at least tell him what the scene looked like when he arrived. Was there a fire they had to put out? Was there an explosion? This is something that he's, he's trying to make it sound almost casual. Hey, like, I have the SQ at my beck and call, like if you, which is not true, but if you need more help with any of the investigation around the explosion, Mr. Plant's like, oh, probably not, like, no big deal, just a little accident, that sort of thing. Just very brushing him off. Let's try to manipulate him with rolling 2d6 plus presence, plus the NPC's attitude. The attitude of the NPC is, I believe, neutral currently. I guess I could roll to see if he's... I have a presence of 0. How can I make his attitude better? I could have brought him a cup of coffee. I feel like JF's just making his rounds, bringing coffees to everybody. I'm doing it. I'm rolling 2d6 plus presence plus NPC attitude. Oh! I rolled, not snake eyes, the opposite of snake eyes. I rolled a 12. You convince them to do what you ask. Well, what I've asked is to give up any information about the investigation so far. So let's... Boxcars! Boxcars! Oh, that's the one. Thank you, Flower. Yes. So let's go to... Where are my tables here? Yes, no, open questions. So this is gonna require some creativity, but I'm gonna roll my open questions table now to try to figure out, what does Mr. Plant know about the scene of the crime? In other words, what did the quarry look like when he arrived? Was there an active fire? Was the explosion deliberately set? I mean, I could just ask yes or no questions, right? But he's been sweet talked. Let's see what we can get out of him. I just want to see what happens if I do this. So, I rolled a... Ooh, did he see anyone leaving or lingering? That'll be good. Deny. Man, I'm rolling a 2 on this black die every time. Deny destruction. Deny destruction. Okay. So, if he denies destruction, I think that's actually pretty fair for this kind of question. The open question was essentially, well, what was the scene of the crime like? And Mr. Plant just guffaws. He leans back in his chair. God damn it, John! Hi, John. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to Little Town. We're playing a solo RPG, Little Town, by Gustavo Coelho. And yeah, sort of a Twin Peaks-esque game here. Deny destroying dad ass. Unbelievable. If you're denying it, it means you did do it, right? Just to be clear. That dad ass was like that when I got here, officer. God fucking damn it. Got him. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm with Splooey on this one. Exactly. The man leans back in his big, easy... He's got like a huge kind of lazy boy in the middle of the fire station floor. Just laughs, has a pull of his beer, crams a cookie in his mouth, crumbs falling all over his beard, And he's like, that's the thing. The explosion was felt for miles. And yet when we got there, practically nothing even seen. Exactly. 30 years? How about a chair? He's denying that there was any sort of real... Yeah, exactly. No. This is good. There's essentially no damage. The explosion was either so specifically targeted that it was just to remove something from existence, or the explosion wasn't meant to destroy something. It was meant to create something, like a new tunnel, or a professional contained blast, exactly. So, current theories. Either something was being destroyed, and it had like a blast shield over it. I mean, how big would that fucking explosion be if it was heard for miles, though? It seems unlikely. Or it was being contained within the quarry itself. Who knows? Okay. The quarry was barely touched by the massive explosion, insinuating professional involvement. Okay, the plot thickens. We're pretty sure that whoever set this explosion knew what they were doing. You know, Monsieur Plante here is just like laughing it off, just kind of like, oh, well, you know, these things happen. Like, thank goodness no one was there. Mr. Foster was at the gate, of course, you know. Such an unannounced. Yeah, they're bringing Mythbusters back, guys, in Lemoine, Quebec. Okay, that's my scene. I'm calling it there. We move down to the next scene, which will be early in the afternoon. So far, ooh, I like it, Alderon. I'm writing it, insinuating professional involvement, and it being beneath the quarry. I like it. Mr. Tremblay, JF, continues his investigation. So, not a ton of leads as of now. He knows he's going to have to get into the quarry tonight. Sneak in past old Mr. Foster. But he has some information so far. The explosion was large enough to be felt and heard, but not so destructive that anything actually was damaged. Either it was deep underground or it was controlled. Either way, professional. Let's get a new location going here, guys. Oh, gotta roll my 2d6. I rolled a 52, the residential district. Oh, I was supposed to say he was going to visit an ex-lover. Mr. Plante, the Santa Claus guy? Ex-lover, maybe? We'll see. The residential district. Who would you go to be visiting in a small town? He could be visiting... Oh, you can refer to the Little Town Gazette supplement for brief descriptions of each location. Out of my way! I'm going to find that. I have it here. Oh, these are people. These are people. What the hell? I don't want people. Very cool. The residential district sprawls along the southern outskirts of the main square. Featuring a tapestry of charming streets adorned with a mix of colonial and Victorian-style houses. Not correct. Each surrounded by meticulously manicured gardens. Not at this latitude, I'll tell you that for free. But let's assume then that it is a relatively... Because I feel like in this part of the in this town there'd be like probably a trailer park. There would probably be... Oh, yeah. Okay, I like it. And Captain Splooey, I really like that he's really gonna be like pushing his luck, trying to interview someone with professional means here. You know what I mean? Like someone with a professional connection. Let's go back to... Where is it? Scenes? Generating a scene. Okay. So the person who owns the quarry's got to be a member of the family that, like, is, like, practically owns this town. Which also would insinuate that they are probably at the heart of the unproven corruption that Mr. Tremblay was trying to investigate and expose. So he is going to not be very happy with this guy, for sure. I am going to... I don't care about personality traits or motivation. I'm going to roll, however, their initial attitude. I just want to see if this person might be less friendly towards Mr. Tremblay. A 5. Friendly. Well, never mind. Let's get an NPC name going on here. I mean, Murphy is such a classic. Who would own this quarry? Let's do it. So the current matriarch of hang on. I'm grabbing some sweet Quebecois names. Côté, Lavoie. Gagne is win or winner. The Bergerons, the Shepherds. I like Simard. That's a good name. That's a strong name. So, the current matriarch of the Simard family is at home on Boxing Day. It's early afternoon as JF shambles up the long, winding drive. Of course, there are no flowers in bloom, no grass. A layer of snow lies over everything, but he can see some of the netting for the little shrubs peeking out from underneath the snow. He looks up at the massive home, a home that was built on the backs of many laborers, of backbreaking work, and he believes also on the back of fraud, I should say. This Simard family home was built with stolen money, but he's not going to let his prejudice towards them stand in the way of investigating this explosion. Did I say what the connection to the explosion was? Did I say here? Yeah, he just couldn't believe it. It couldn't possibly have been an accident. He is... Oh, nice. Okay, Mistrich, I'm going to say ex-lover Manon, and I'm going to just make a note of that. JF's the kind of guy who would have a couple of ex-lovers floating around town. You know what I mean? He can catch them, but he can't keep them. It's just got too much going on. The current matriarch, let's say Valérie Simard. So what else can I say about that? She's actually pretty happy to see JF. Much like Mrs. Desmarais, she celebrated Christmas here on the 24th and 25th. Everyone was at church together on the evening of Christmas Eve. Just a few short hours before the explosion rocked the mine, or the quarry. But Valérie Simard is just a beaming, joyous woman. Just so incredibly happy to preside over this town, essentially. The Simard name is on everything. Simard Town Hall, Simard Town Square, Simard Hardware, Simardware. Less good. But she is thrilled to just be of service to the community. Let's assume our good friend JFT is gonna he's trying to be as honest as possible. Hey, it sounds like no one got hurt at the old quarry, but I want to make sure that there's no danger. If we ever put it back into operation again, or sort of major operation again in the summer, I want to make sure that there's no possible collapse. I want to make sure that we get the right team in there. This isn't an official investigation, you understand. Now, let us define the scene event. I got a 4. The time limit is not 8. So I still get to roll on the investigation progress table. Phew! That is very close, actually. So I'm rolling 2d6, and I'm hoping to get something good. I rolled a 9 this time. There might be a clue in this location. Roll investigate. So, Valérie Simard invites him in for a cup of tea, for a chat. Her long mahogany table gleams in the light of the fire coming from the living room. It's warm in here, cozy. It smells of money. Valerie bustles about in the kitchen preparing tea and a couple of digestive biscuits for JFT. Let's see if he can grab something maybe off of the mantelpiece, the side table, What do you guys call those, like, long tables in the dining room? My family always called them the buffet. I don't know what you'd call them, though. Let's roll investigate. When searching for a clue, roll 2d... A credenza? Oh, hell yeah, Aragwen, that's way better. What the fuck, Canada? Let's find out here, Captain Splooey. So, when you search for a clue, roll 2d6 plus mind. So, on a 10 plus, I get a clue from the clue pile. On a 7 to 9, I get a clue, but I get a problem. And then on a 6 or less, I roll my complication. So, my mind was plus 2. So, I'm rolling 2d6 plus 2. Here we go. Oh, fuck. Okay, I rolled an 8. 10. Get a clue. On his way to the washroom after having a lovely cup of tea and a lovely chat where they compared Christmas Eve notes and plans for 2025. On the way down to the washroom, JFT just pokes his head into Valerie's office. Again, warm, thick, plush carpeting. Lots of green paint on the walls. A bright, beautiful stained glass window overlooking what would be the garden. And on the desk, I'm drawing a clue from the clue pile. So the clue pile is the hearts, the hearts stack. It's a suit. And then, let's see what I get. I drew the 8 of hearts, which is stained. Oh, sorry. So some clues feature multiple options. When you draw a card, treat the first option as the clue, return the card to the pile, and shuffle. Upon drawing the card again, consider its next option, etc. When you reach the last prompt, treat it as the last clue and discard the card. So, in theory, you're discovering clues quite often. I drew an 8 of hearts, which is stained clothes, e.g., grease or blood. That is intense. Yeah. All right, so, obviously, the first thing my mind goes to here is stained with dirt, grime, grease, maybe even some nitrate from the explosion. A pair of gloves, just kind of exactly hanging off the edge of the desk. Or sorry, yeah. Obviously, my second thought immediately goes to stained in a way that is feeling a lot less safe for work, implying that Miss Simard... Because Miss Simard would be having an affair or something. Oh boy. Okay, I'm gonna roll this, guys. It says grease or blood. So either we're implying that these gloves belonged to someone who was at the site of the explosion, or there's a blouse with a bit of blood on it, which would imply that somebody is dead. And that is a much more interesting complication. So I'm gonna roll this actually. Ah, fuck. Yeah, it really might not. We don't know. This is the new lead, right? I'm rolling it though. Evens. Evens is blood. I rolled a 7. It is not. Too bad. Very cool though. In her office. Oh, sorry. So a clue. Stained clothes. I'm going to write this in my clues list, because remember, the more clues I have, the more likely I am to actually solve the goddamn case. Oops. Oh, now this is mysterious music. Yeah, okay. Valerie Simard, office, stained clothes. Gloves with traces of blast powder and nitrate. So, I haven't left the location yet. Based on the rules of the game, I could now interrogate Valerie Simard. Hey, where did these gloves come from? Whose are these, you know? But I think JF knows... He knows when something is... He knows when not to push. His years of experience for the SQ. I know he's a loose cannon, but he's not just going to go out on a limb and just, like, push someone, you know, to her limit kind of thing. He takes a couple of photos of the gloves and thinks, if I could come back with a warrant, there would be so much more to search here. But instead, he's going to leave. However, this means we have a suspect. Suspect. Valerie Simard. What do we think? Does that make sense? The gloves look like they could belong to her, but we're not 100% sure. Maybe maybe someone came in and tossed them there. Maybe she's keeping them to wash them for someone else. Maybe they're her gloves. Yeah, exactly. Maybe they're just work gloves. We don't know. All right, see you soon, Flower. Ah, yes, that classic unisex vibe. All right. Good. Okay, that's that scene. I'm ticking my scene counter down. It's still the afternoon. We've had some tea. We've had some digestive biscuits, and we're off to a new location. Abandoned factory. I rolled a 56. The bookstore. Fuck. No, I'm re-rolling that. I'm not going back to the bookstore. Hi, Saren Zero. Welcome to another solo RPG. Today we're playing Little Town, a game by Gustavo Coelho. Colo? I'm not sure, I'm sorry. Sort of a Twin Peaks-esque solo RPG. Very exciting stuff. I'm not going back to the bookstore. I'm rolling a new location. If it was the bookstore again, I would scream. It's not. Ah! That classic small town location. Oh, guys, you can't see what I'm rolling. I rolled a 14. The Antique Tram Depot. God. Why does this town have a whole depot just for trams? It's like normal-ass places, and then fucking antique tram depot. It could be like a Exactly, Aragorn. Yeah, exactly. It could very well be. I'm going to say it's the Quarry Museum, okay? Like yeah, the trams that took people down into the quarry and that sort of thing. Why would he be here? He would be here to look for people who know things about the quarry. He'd be looking for employees. He'd be looking for people who know where to put blasting powder or dynamite or whatever to not collapse a quarry. Old maps of the interior. Yes. Okay, I like it. Is his ex-lover Manon going to be here? Or is she more likely to be in the Petroglyphs cave? I don't fucking know. She works here, right? She works here. Yes. Okay, great. Here we go. The ex-lover Manon is just for Mistridge. Okay. Next stop, we have a suspect, but JF still needs more information. If he's going to break into the quarry to see what has been destroyed or carved out with this massive explosion underground, he's going to need to know where he's going. He's going to need a map of the quarry as recent as he possibly can. One of the two members of staff at the Lemoine Quarry Museum, Stone Quarry Museum, is a certain Manon. Small, dark hair, tattoos up and down the arm. The arm. Her one arm. Sorry. Up and down her sleeves of tattoos. Leaning against the desk. Coy smile on her lips as she sees JF come in. Yeah, hell yeah. Just the one, though. Very, very patches. Manon smiles. Oh, here, there's a typo. I just noticed. The Kufi shop. Might not be a typo. You don't know. Yeah. Got into a quarry accident. Is the employee here. Now, why the museum would be open on Boxing Day, certainly... I like de la Carrière. I'm writing it down. The real question is this whole conspiracy gonna... How deep does this conspiracy go? You know? So we might end up trying to manipulate Manon, see if we can, like, determine anything about her. We don't know. See if she knows anything. Ah, so sad, Captain Splooey. You know, you could have come over. I know we're not together anymore, Manon, but at least we could have shared a glass of Drambuie on Christmas Eve. Fucking shit. Oh my god. Sorry. She just rolls her eyes at this fucking guy. Alright, let's generate a scene. The Quarry Museum is actually just a very small, it's essentially just a single room. There's you know, signs up with old photographs of the quarry's opening, old black and white sepia photos. And in the center of the room, one of the old tram carts that would bring miners down into the depths of the quarry. You know, and a few other artifacts. But he knows that there's a back room, and he knows that back there might be something like a map to the quarry. So we're going to define the scene event by rolling a d6 plus the time limit of 8. 3 plus 8 is 11. Oh, God, I've been so lucky. Investigation progress table, we roll 2d6. I rolled a 5 this time. You notice someone discussing the case. Roll snoop around to try to eavesdrop. Oh my God, Captain Splooey. Look, man, JF and Mano, everyone thought they were the forever couple. They thought they were the hip it couple of Lemoine. Guess not. You notice someone discussing the case. Roll snooping around to try to eavesdrop. As JF kind of smiles and nods and heads off to sort of poke around a little bit, he steps off to use the washroom. Someone comes in to discuss something about the case with Mano. Now, this is going to be important. So I'm going to... Is it Mr. Plant? Is it Simard? No, I don't think so. I don't think it's either of those people. I think it's the Mr. Foster, the gate security guard. So snooping around is a while trying to discreetly listen in on a conversation, roll 2d6 plus an attribute of your choice. You manage to overhear a rumor, you catch snippets, and then you end up attracting unwanted attention. Mr. Foster has worked the security at the quarry gate for, you know, again, nearly 30 years. A lot of old retirees in this town. He is a wiry old man, hair coming out of his ears. Little tufts, I guess I should say. Little tufts of gray around his head as well. He's worn an old peaked cap for many years. It looks about as old as he is. Stooped from years of walking and sitting. Walking around the quarry site and sitting. But he's a bit of a legend in town because he's been here. He's essentially one of the oldest living people in Lemoine. Which sounds an awful lot like Lemoine. It was pointed out to me, and I think that's funny. Okay, I'm going to roll 2d6 plus mind, which is my highest attribute. I rolled a 6, plus 2 is 8. You catch snippets of the conversation but are noticed. Roll an action, theme, or item, and the participants adopt an unfriendly attitude towards you. So I'm going to say, as Mr. Foster comes in, so I'm just going to write, has a convo with Mr. Foster. So as Mr. Foster kind of comes in and leans across the counter to sort of start whispering quite intently at Mano, JF's peeks around the tram car and notices Mano's face change. One of worry, a little bit of surprise, a little bit of anxiety, maybe a little bit of fear. I'm curious what action, theme, and item are, so I'm just going to have a look. Action, theme. Oh, this is the open questions table. Okay, and then item is probably a different thing entirely. Yeah, fucking apple, creamed corn. Creamed corn. I like that, yeah. However, let's actually roll on the table just to get a sense of whether it's a warning or something else. Yeah, I'm gonna roll on the theme table and just get a sense. 5 and 2, place. Okay, well, place would be the quarry. So yeah, I think that makes sense to me, Captain Splooey. essentially he comes in to say, you should know, I've heard from someone, probably Miss Simard, but we don't know that necessarily, that Jean-Francois has been poking around. Tremblay's trying to figure out what's going on at the quarry. And you know that we can't trust him. You know that he's working for them. He doesn't have the town's best interests at heart, Menno, eyes wide with a little bit of fear and concern, sees JF poking around from the back of the tram and kind of shushes Mr. Foster. Her face hardens. She crosses her arms. And I think with the unfriendly attitude that's developed, it's probably time for us to get the hell out of here. So that was the investigation progress. I rolled snooping around, and I got snippets of conversation. And they adopted an unfriendly attitude. Yeah, he's not one of us. So far we really only have one clue, which is these blasting powder-covered gloves in Valerie Simard's house. But we do know that there's some sort of conspiracy afoot. The fire department doesn't give a shit about the explosion. Nothing was damaged. We know that... What else do we know here? Yeah, I like it. Spooey, for sure. We know that Mr. Foster, as you say, loyalist, company man, town man, is very against the idea of Mr. Tremblay getting anywhere near the quarry. He's not one of us. And so now we have unfriendly attitudes. The sneak later is going to be very important, I would say. Okay. Because we're reaching the end of the stream time, actually, I'm going to rush the last couple of scenes and see what we come up with, and then we're going to discuss what we want to do with this one-shot. With this solo RPG. Okay. One more location at random, and then you know where we're off to. We're going to try to sneak across the lake to the quarry itself. But let's roll one more, and we'll see if we can figure out what else. To the bookstore! Oh, shit. Come on! It's 32. Fucking firehouse again. God fucking damn it. Someone remind me not to roll dice anymore, please. We're not going back to the firehouse. I'm rolling again. 23. City Hall. It would be, right? To the coffee shop. The mayor. Does JF have a good relationship with the mayor? He doesn't really have a good relationship with anybody. The mayor... Okay. I'm going to write City Hall in bracket, in quotation marks, because, like, in a town of this size, it really is just somebody's house, basically. The reality is, Valerie Simard basically owns this town. She is far and away the wealthiest person here. Ownership of the quarry and of many of the major businesses of the town means that she is the de facto leader of everything. But she is not an elected representative of the town. No, for that, we will have to speak to the mayor of Lemoine, who is going to be... Oh, God. Mr. Cote. Did I have already used Gerard? I don't think I have. Mr. Gerard Cote is a small man, darty eyes, has sort of the resemblance of like a ferret or an otter or something. He's got something very vaguely rodent-like about his face. Always pushing up his spectacles. Always pushing up his spectacles. Sorry, always pushing his spectacles up his little rat face. I'm just right. I just write what comes to me, Captain Spluey, okay? Can we intimidate Mr. Cote into allowing us official access to the quarry as part of an unofficial investigation on behalf of the SQ. I don't know. Does Mr. Cote know something about the Simard's involvement in the explosion? Does he know something about perhaps what the town... Okay, so we're probably here because Mr. Cote would be the recipient of any sort of fraudulently obtained money. So let's find out. We go back to generating a scene. The mayor's office is essentially just Mr. Cote's home. Not nearly as well appointed as the Simard's. A small bungalow with a low-ceilinged living room. That old kind of light yellow paint on the walls, peeling now. But there's a sense of history here. Certificates, old photographs, maps, deeds to the city on the walls. There's a sense that Mr. Cote likes living in his memorabilia. Yeah, peeling paint would be pretty gross, eh, Aragwen? That's pretty nasty. Let's go with wallpaper. Exactly, Captain Splooey. So let's... However, I am going to roll the scene event because I have yet to draw a card from the dangers pile, and that feels to me like it might be necessary soon. Not yet, though. I rolled a 3, so 3 plus 8, which is the time limit, brings me to an 11. I roll on the investigation progress table. I rolled a fucking 7 again. Nothing favors the investigation at this location. So I don't necessarily get a clue. I'm just going to look at the actions here. Because so investigating discovers clues. Interrogating gets me a yes-no question. Sweet talk allows me to get something, and then intimidate allows me to get something. So what I want to do is both interrogate and investigate. And again, try to see if we can find files pertaining to the corruption present in the Simard's home. Sorry. Interrogate and intimidate. Yeah, maybe, eh? So let's have a look at these. I haven't actually looked at these moves yet. Interrogate says, when trying to extract information someone, roll. And then either they share a rumor, they become unfriendly, or roll a yes-no question to determine if they have valuable information. If so, they give you a location, a motivation, or an NPC. Okay, yeah, so I think interrogate makes sense here. And I think we intimidate him. To get what I want. No, I'm just going to interrogate. We're going to say it's like done in an intimidating way. Oh, that access. Aha, yeah. Okay, Splooey, so you're right. We're going to do both. Basically, there are no clues here, but we're definitely going to be investigating the quarry once we get there, because that's where we're going to find all the clues we need to solve this case. But JF comes in, flashes his badge. He's like, I've seen enough now around town to know that there's something going on at the quarry. An explosion of that magnitude is going to be unsafe. It is going to put people in danger, Mr. Cote. And I know that Valerie's already been on the record saying everything's fine, and I know Mr. Plant also said everything was safe over there, that they've already done their little investigation. But you, Mr. Cote, you're the mayor, and you are going to tell me what's really going on. No, not what's really going on. You're gonna let me have a look around for myself, just to make sure that my superiors don't go around asking too many questions. So I think I'm going to intimidate first. What do I do here? Do I intimidate first and then interrogate after? Yeah, I think so. That makes sense to me. Gotta give the SQ satisfied. All right, 2d6 plus strength. My strength is +1? Yeah. I rolled... Whoops. I'm gonna re-roll that die. I rolled 4 plus 2 is... 6. Oh, plus the NPC attitude, which I think was neutral by default. They resist your attempts and initiate a confrontation. Roll brawl or avoid conflict. So avoid conflict is trying to avoid a fight before it starts. Brawl is a physical confrontation. Shit. Are we gonna get into a fight with Mr. Cote? Why is he so... He's so, like... He's so determined to keep something or someone from J.F. Tremblay. As a complete shock to J.F., Mr. Cote's face screws up and gets absolutely pinky red. He's furious. JF knows that he's been pushing his boundary a little bit, you know. Mr. Cote gets his finger up in his face, you know. You've always been a problem, Tremblay. You've never had this city's best interests at heart. And now I'm gonna have to ask you to leave my office, and he goes to swing at the side of his head. Let's just see what Brawl does. When engaging in a physical confrontation, roll 2d6 plus strength. So, wounds, basically. And then I can't remember how wounds work, so let's go ahead and roll it. 2d6 strength is 1. I rolled a 5. Fuck. Uh-oh. He's just surprised. So I rolled a 6 total. You miss the opponent, exposing yourself to their attack. Mark a wound. Let's have a quick look at how wounds work, because I don't remember. It's not great, guys. I can't believe the rat-faced mayor was like secretly a boxer all along. Where is conditions? 1 wound. The investigator feels pain, but it's not incapacitating. Works for me. So seriously injured, you get a -1. You can take a break or whatever. And then 3 wounds is at death's door. Okay. So he responds super negatively and pushes back at Tremblay. Now the question is, given what I know, I could still try to, like, there's no reason that I can't also try to investigate, right? Like, or interrogate. But what's the story here, right? The story is, in an attempt to pressure this little meek guy into giving up all the information, Mr. Cote pushes back. It seems that JF's days in Lemoine are numbered. So I've taken a wound. JF's like, okay, and just takes a step back. And he's like, Mr. Cote, you and I both know that you're hiding something. And if you're going to attack citizens of your own town, officers of the law, you know that that's going to come back to bite you one day. If you're attacking someone in order to keep something a secret, you have to ask yourself why you are keeping it a secret. To which Mr. Cote gets a smug little smile on his face. You're not here on behalf of the SQ, though, are you, JF? I saw that little badge, but I don't see any other officers. And I don't see any reason for you to be here. The fire chief has already cleared the site for work starting again in the summer. Miss Simard is fine as well. She hasn't been concerned. She was not concerned about the very unfortunate accident that took place. To which JF goes, all right, steps out into the gathering dusk of Lemoine, Quebec. Let's summarize before I take my last scene of the day. We went to the bookstore. Accident, my ass! Exactly, Autumn. Exactly. So, we went to the bookstore. We went to the fire station. We went to Valerie Simard's house. What we've learned from those 3 places, basically, that this explosion probably took place underground, was probably professionally done because it seemed to be very large, but apparently caused no damage. Which means, presumably, that it was well contained, well planned, and well executed. Valerie Simard was in the process of either cleaning or washing or burning or hiding gloves, upon which there were some burn marks, gunpowder, not gunpowder residue, but like blast powder residue. And then a couple, again, and then the last two scenes we've just done are a couple loyal members of the town, the mayor and the gate security guard at the quarry, basically getting super aggro and promising that JF is never going to find out anything about the quarry. And if he keeps pushing, he's going to find himself in a lot of trouble. I tick my counter down to 1, and we go do our last scene, and then we'll wrap up because it's been a little long here. Let's go to setting the scene. I'm not rolling a location. Ooh, Aragwen. Aragwen! You can share it in the chat if you want, or you can spoiler text it in my channel on Discord, whatever you prefer. The likelihood, JF feels, is that the quarry is probably going to still have, safety tape, caution tape. Maybe even another guard posted. Maybe even some SQ officers. But he has to get in there and see for himself what has been carved out, destroyed, covered up. So, in fact, rather than going across the frozen lake, he's going to drive around the lake towards the quarry. Ooh. Exactly. Alderaan, I really like that, and we're about to find out, I think. The gathering dusk has beautiful hues of blue and purple and pink as the sun sets over Lac Lemoine, glinting off of the ice. JF's old pickup truck skids around a corner, but it's a workhorse of a car, of a truck. Stays on the road and moves towards the quarry. He thinks back over the day of investigation, and there seems to be a lot of people very interested in keeping him away from the site in particular. Everyone seems to have just agreed that whatever this explosion was for, it either did its job or isn't a problem. And he's going to find out what it is. Ooh, okay. So, that's the air is bitingly cold, but clear. And as darkness falls over the quarry, JF gets out of his truck at the gate with a giant "Do not enter," warning, danger sign, shines his flashlight around. Doesn't seem to be a soul. Let's define the scene event by rolling 1d6 plus the time limit. 3 plus 8 is still not 13. No danger. We go to the investigation progress table and we roll 2d6. 9. There might be a clue. Roll investigate. That was my plan anyway. Around the frozen lake to the quarry. I'm just going to keep a note for myself. It's an easy hop over the low gate, and he's in. Obviously, he's really taking his time, making sure he doesn't step in any sort of very deep snow, making his way around the edge of the massive pit that is this old stone quarry. But it would appear Mr. Plante was right. There doesn't seem to be any damage. In fact, frankly, not even really any disturbed snow. The tracks left by the fire engine are still present because it hasn't snowed since yesterday. But other than that, he doesn't see any footprints. He doesn't see any way down into the pit, really, other than the long, winding, essentially road where they would take big trucks up and down. He starts making his way down, and let's roll 2d6 plus mind, which is plus 2. I rolled a 7, plus 2 is 9. Discover a clue, but there's a problem. I'm going to read the complications. Someone here loses respect for you. Someone who's not at the location will become angry and develop a hostile attitude. That seems quite likely. Or, much more likely, you expose yourself to danger, draw a card from the dangers pile, and apply its effects at the beginning of the next scene. Excuse me. Or you lose something. It says choose one of your belongings to discard. I could have only tentatively established belongings, so I could drop my flashlight down a bottomless pit, but I'm going to draw my clue, and then I'm going to draw a danger. And I'm hoping that together, that is the story of what is happening here at the quarry. JF makes his way down further down into the pit. I'm going to draw my cards immediately and keep them face down, guys, so that we see them at the same time. The weak beam of his flashlight barely penetrating the darkness, the gathering gloom down here. His breath fogging the air, starlight weakly glinting down at the bottom of the pit. Let's find out what the clues are. I drew a 4 of hearts. A magazine clipping. So at the bottom of the quarry, there's probably, certainly ways down further into the earth. But there's also a little hut. To his surprise, JF finds the door open. Oh no, I don't like this music. Hang on. I liked the previous song better. I liked the previous song better. Inside. So this shack would probably be like a place for a warming cabin or maybe a security guard station or maybe even just a place for people to sort of rest going up and down the quarry. There's a little place for preparing meals, a washroom off to the side. And on the table, a clipping of an old magazine. I'm going to write magazine clipping. Here as clues. Magazine clipping in the mine. Captain Splooey, I think we're of one mind here. There's actually, you know what? I'm going to say 2. It's still 1 clue, but it's 2 things. There's 2 magazine clippings pasted on the wall. In fact, actually several. Let's say several, but they seem to fall into 2 categories. And they seem to be posted on the wall in like almost a sort of conspiracy board, murder board situation. Magazine clippings adorn the walls of the small cabin in the quarry. So this is someone's like hideout, maybe? There's a group of clippings that seem to point towards exactly priceless artifacts. Sorry, I'm just going to write here. Priceless artifacts found in remote northern Quebec town. Ooh. Oh, that is a bit real, to be honest. But well, priceless artifacts could be from anywhere, right? The other group of clippings on the wall, though, and there seem to be lines almost like, again, red string kind of between the thumbtacks, drawing links between them. The other series of articles are about the life and career of Jean-Francois Tremblay. There's a photo of him when he started at the SQ. There's a photo of him receiving commendations for 20 years on the force. There's a clipping of him, approaching retirement, an interview with him in a magazine. There's an article about him investigating the history of Lemoine, but this is from a Montreal newspaper. But there seems to be a collection of articles and clippings and things. Yeah, exactly. Well, no, so both. I'm going to say there's both. There's both information about something found in a mine and stuff about Jean-Francois is up on the wall. Now, presumably, nobody ever thought he'd come down here. Or maybe they thought they'd have time to clear this stuff out. Now, if I roll back up to investigate, there's a problem. Draw a card from the clues pile and choose a complication. Draw a card from the dangers pile and apply its effect at the beginning of the next scene. Reminder that I've already drawn my danger, so we're going to find out what the danger is and see if we discover it either right now or in the dawn before the next scene. 10 of spades. When you open the door of your hotel room, you get shot at point blank range. Mark 2 wounds. Now that's a fucking cliffhanger. Holy shit, guys! Okay. Alright, this is great. Because, remember, I have 1 wound already from being punched in the face by Mr. Cote, the mayor. So let's not forget, 3 wounds, and I'm basically dead. Well, I'll get to that. I'm gonna get to that in a second, guys. Let me paint you a picture. As Jean-Francois makes his way home, photos of the articles on the wall playing throughout his head, he keeps returning to one photo over and over. It's a photo of him newly recruited to the SQ. There's pride in his eyes and his smile. But there's also a fear in his heart now. Where the hell did they get that photo? He only thought there was one maybe in SQ Records and one on his mantelpiece at home. Stepping through the door of his very dark, very cold little 2-room house, or apartment, I should say. No, trailer, fuck it. He lives in a trailer. Stepping into his 2-room trailer, Jean-Francois heads straight for I'm going to call it a mantelpiece, but you know what I mean, the shelf. He picks up the framed photograph of him having joined the SQ, flips it over, and can indeed see scratch marks on the back where someone must have removed the photo, made a copy, and put it back in. And that is the last thing he remembers before 3 loud gunshots ring out. Holy shit. Okay, let's quickly jump to, oh my god, I did not know. I did not know that you could get, like, shot really hard in this game. Let's go to conditions. Wounds. It starts at 0, it goes up to a maximum of 3. The investigator falls unconscious and gets closer to death. Wound levels change over time, and their effects are detailed below. At death's door, the investigator falls unconscious. At this wound level, the only thing they can do is try to fight death. Roll 2d6. 10 plus. Despite the dire situation, your body continues to battle for survival. Utter a final statement. Do something. Oh shit. Oh my god. Sorry, I didn't. Oh no, I am dead. Okay. Oh, I thought you could survive. I should have read this before I made, like, the cliffhanger. This is so good. When marking 3 wounds, roll 2d6. Despite the dire situation, your body continues to battle for survival. Utter a final statement. Do something memorable before taking your last breath, and then find your rest. Or, 9 or less, you are dead. Guys, first of all, let me find a better song. This is too pleasant for the fact that we're fucking dead now. No, here. Yeah. That'll probably be better. Here's my suggestion to you. This is the pilot episode of Littletown, aka Lemoine, or whatever we would call the show. At the end of the pilot episode, JF discovers this, makes the connection that someone... I can't believe I'm dead because I got punched in the face by that fucking rat-faced bastard. He makes the connection, but we don't know what that connection is necessarily, and as he turns around, bang, 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 bang. Blood all over his wall, the wall of his trailer, and all over the framed photograph. I like it, guys. And then, because it's the pilot, we would cut to his twin brother, who's going to come back and continue the investigation, I guess. or something. His twin brother on the outskirts of town. However, I am going to roll my 2d10. Or 2d6. I'm not going to say anything else. I'm just going to roll it. Holy shit, Aragorn, it's a 10. Woo! I did it! Guys, I never roll well. I rolled 2d10. Or I rolled 10, sorry. No. Yay! Okay, thank you, Aragorn. I think Jean-Francois Tremblay manages to, in the grand tradition of, whatever that movie is called, Tom Hanks, that book series, The Da Vinci Code, there we go. He, like, manages to, as he is dying, either, what does he do? Does he, like, point at something? Does he leave, like, a small message in his own blood? Does he manage to get to the paper and scrawl something, to a piece of paper and scrawl something out? But he, before collapsing, he looks down at his chest, blood pooling. Or sorry, yeah, no, he got shot in the back, and then the blood exploded everywhere, right? He turns around, and he looks into the eyes of the gun person and just says, You? And collapses forward. That's it. That's it. That's all. That's it. I like it. That's it. That's all. Okay, my friends. This would have been the pilot of the show. My investigator is now dead, which is a classic Scott move. However, his twin brother will return to the town to take over for the rest of the season, probably. And they'll find the conspiracy. I would too. Hi, weirdness. Guys, I have to go, though, because I said till 1:30, and it's now like almost 2. Whoops. Can I close this? Can I close that? Yeah. Whee! I'm like way too far over now. Oh, the murderer jumps in to solve the murder. The murder. There we go. Whoa. Guys, this is pretty exciting. Thanks for joining me. This would, I believe, be the end of Little Town. I'm calling this the end of the pilot episode, as I've determined already. If you like, if you're watching the VOD of this on YouTube, thank you so much. Leave a comment, whatever. Just let me know what you enjoyed or what you didn't enjoy. Splooey and Aragorn are both everyone's really excited, and I am too, actually. That's a really cool conclusion. I like the randomness of the game feels very appropriate for sort of a Twin Peaks-esque kind of world where things can just kind of happen to you. You can have a crazy ass dream. You can get shot. You can get punched by some guy at a diner. You know, like, it's very, very strange. Twin ESP. Well, he's debunked it, but is that because he just doesn't want you to know the truth, Aragorn? Put your thinking tinfoil cap on there, Aragorn. Do I have anything else to say about this? I really enjoy this. I find the randomness difficult because it's very much just like, okay, I've gone to this place and the story is that I find a clue, but I don't find a clue. The story is that I go and I interrogate this guy, but he punches me in the face. There's a lot of variance, but I think I will be playing again myself for sure because I want to know how you can actually progress towards conclusion. I did not know I was gonna die. But it makes for a really cool story here. Okay, I'm done. We're done. Join us for Drew Crew in just over an hour's time over on Elizabeth's channel. Join us tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern for another episode of Montreal by Moonlight. Ring in the new year right with Montreal by Moonlight, which is our Werewolf the Apocalypse 5th edition campaign, for those of you in the chat who might not know. And of course, join the RPG Clinic Discord. My channel on there, Biff the Boss, is for discussing this game, Arkham, my game suggestions for my in-character streams, whatever. I want to say Alderaan specifically, thank you for dropping by, following, and asking about the game so that I can actually, like, freaking promote it. I think this is a cool game. I'm just going to post the thing here. His dumpy butt. That was in a separate channel, Captain Splooey. How fucking dare you? I love it. Guys, thanks so much for joining me today. That was a wild ride. But I like the mystery that's unfolding. Maybe we'll see Jean-Francois' twin. How... God damn it, weirdness. Alright, well, on the note of the shape of my ass. Alright, team. We'll see y'all next time. Here for another solo RPG, some Arkham, or some other crazy-ass games. Hope to see you on Drew Crew and on RPG Clinic tomorrow. See you next time. Bye-bye.